Okay, we're back for another episode of PFREI, A Passion for Real Estate Investment. I'm your host, Fuquan Bilal, and I'm here with Chase Thompson. Chase actually used to run a successful real estate podcast called No MBA. I was fortunate enough to be on one of those episodes and talk a little about notes. I think the title was Get Drunk Off Yields or something like that.
The first one we did was Get Drunk Off Yields. It was a strange thumbnail, right? Like the image of the business, like why is there a bar shot and so on. But the way that you presented, I'm sure, on these episodes here and within that episode was a really interesting take on looking at, because you did a lot of seconds, in the note space we were working on first. So it brought a whole different perspective, a whole different way of looking at, in that case, yields, ROIs and things like that, and understanding the business that we hadn't, we really, after we got done recording that episode, co-host and I, Robert Woods, stepped back and we're like, oh, maybe that might be something that we could check out. So maybe we can get to. So it was fascinating, some of the stuff that you were able to bring in the two episodes you did with us for that.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. So I wanted to actually bring you now. I know you guys are doing a couple of things.
Yeah.
You're investing in some real estate, you're investing in some notes, and you also sharing your knowledge and experience with people who's new getting into business on your educational platform. So let's talk about that first, a little bit about what that's about and how do they get involved with that.
So when we started the podcast, it was back in 2015, and a lot of people were wondering when we were going to come out with a course, because everybody has a course or some sort of class or something like that. And that really wasn't what we were trying to do. The podcast is free. It's on iTunes. You can just go download, listen, and make it happen. But what we experienced in the note space, and it's something that we've also experienced in our own portfolio in the just fix and flip stuff and just whatever, it's been hot. The market's been hot. So it's been tough. And we also saw a bunch of people that were just not, they weren't coming to the business well educated. They were overbidding on stuff. We have a relationship with a lot of sellers because of the business we built where, they're not going to tell us who bought it. But I'm like, what did this sell for? I know what I was bidding. What did this sell for? And they tell me the number, and I'm like, there's no way that person's going to get. They're not going to make. Not only are they not going to make money, they're going to have a tough time because I know they overpaid for that. There's no way. And so we just saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of that in the market. People were trying to find different places to go put money, and notes was a great place to go. So that was finally when we decided, okay, we're going to try to bring something out. It's not a super expensive, product because it's not our mainstay. Real estate's what we do. It was just a means to be able to have, I know I'm going to have competition and I know I'm going to have peers, but I don't want to have that type of competition. I don't want to have competition that's going to go and lose a bunch of money. I want to be, it's weird. You know what I mean? It was almost like I don't want to play sports against, someone who I know is going to have a bum name, like this isn't fun. That's not great. And so it was a means for us to be able to kind of bring that to the marketplace in a way that's, I understand, like I said, we're going to have peers, we're going to have competitors, but they're just not learning from people who are giving them the information they need to actually go build a business, to actually go do this right. I don't need you to go buy 1,000, deals off of what we're doing. I just want you to be able to go buy one that's not going to be awful. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So that's what we're trying to do. It's called the Note Investing Academy, but the point of it was more specifically that should just not. There's no upsell and come to our weekend events, and there's none of that. It's just go learn how to do this well, and go learn how to do this to be able to not fail. Really.
Now, those are modules you have set up.
Yeah. So that's the big thing. It's all online. It's all on demand and all that kind of stuff. We've got over 70 modules right now. We want to get to about 100 by the end of this year. And we cover the gambit, man. Right? So we talk about what notes are, and we talk about all the basic stuff and the advanced stuff. But we go into figuring out your why for your business, how to integrate lifestyle design into this. Do you actually want to have 400 notes, or do you want to go have 10 to be able to support a second home, on the coast, or what are you trying to do? Yeah. And so we've got everything from how to handle bankruptcy to, a round table of all the educators in the course, the books that we've read that have positively impacted our business and how you can take those strategies without having to go read the whole book, So it really does run the whole spectrum, which is really great. Like I said, so we're just trying to make better peers. That's
amazing. I know when I got started, I started in the real estate business in 99, 2000. I got started in note business around 2012. Yeah. There really wasn't that much information out there like there is today online And, where you had the podcast, you had the YouTube videos, it really wasn't a lot. So now I think people that are getting in and out are more fortunate to have access to the educational platforms
That's why we started the podcast, is because it was we had come from a real estate background. I came from the mortgage space. And I didn't even know that you could do note investing like we do note investing. So I was doing regular residential mortgages. I was doing the actual production side, not the secondary markets and stuff. So when I got into the note space, I was like, wait, there's a whole other space. Yeah. I've been doing all this retail. So I've been doing retail. It's like a sucker. No, but I didn't even know in the mortgage space, I didn't even know that this is something that you could do. So I was about as close as you could get outside of being obviously on the secondary side. And still didn't know, at that time. So you've done an amazing job with the stuff that you put out there. There's, obviously that's why we started the podcast. We've got the academy. There's a lot of people that are teaching now and doing some good stuff. But the issue I think is that some people were coming from, say, a flip model or something where the ARVs they were used to paying or something, they just were a little higher because you were putting more into an asset to be able to sell it for, it's a different type of class. Yeah. And so then when you go buy notes at fix and flip, level, it starts to lose a lot of that profitability. And so that's what we saw kind of happening. So that's what we were trying to kind of not solve, but just look, if I'm going to lose, if you and I are bidding and I'm going to lose to you, that's fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm going to go get another deal. But I don't want you to then go lose the retirement you put into it or your investing partner's money or whatever. That's crazy. So that's what we try to put together.
So now you're doing any real property deals? I know you're mentioning Ohio and different places. Yeah. Doing some hands-on stuff. How was the transition? Because I know when I fell in love with the note business in 2012, I was going around saying, no tenants, tallest trash, termites, stay away. Yeah. And then now, today, I'm doing flips and rentals and everything else. Because I learned over that having a mixture of both in the portfolio is definitely beneficial. There's some tax advantages. But let's talk about that a little bit. The transition from laptop, cell phone to actually going back to real property.
That has been, so what's crazy is what I love about notes, and we talk about this in some of the lifestyle design modules in the academy, is you could do, you could travel at a different level. You can, just be home at a different level. When you're doing notes, it really allows for a lot more flexibility. If I'm not trying to run a bunch of, flips in my backyard, with notes, you have a little bit of that flexibility. But so it's almost like I get to go have fun with friends and family and whatever. And there is fun in that real estate. There is fun in notes. It does exist. But man, going into a spec though, going into some real property stuff, getting out on the job sites. That's just a different, anybody who does real estate knows what I'm talking about. But that is a different level. That's it's a visceral level. It's so different. And so for us, we've done some commercial stuff. We're doing, like I said, spec build stuff. True prep stuff. We've got a couple of mixed units in Louisville that we're doing. So there's actually a block in Louisville that we just happen to find some. We're just listen, we're just going to go monopoly on this. We're just going to set up some greens, put down some reds. And we're trying, got the Oriental. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's something so different about, and it's very different, right? But just this idea, you can have a portfolio of 100 notes, be doing well in your business, all that kind of stuff. But you get your first strip mall. So we have one up I live in Texas, so it's up the road from me. But you get that strip mall, you drive by the strip mall, you get businesses operating. It's just different. It's so different. And so having that differentiation in your portfolio is great because the economy is going to do what the economy does. And knowing a bunch of stuff is great, and being able to execute on that when a good deal comes across the plate. But we actually made that transition about, if you're listening to the podcast, about 110 episodes in, we start talking about it. And the reason is we started seeing these deals come across the plate, but I couldn't swing at them because I didn't know. And I was like, whatever. Now it's literally with the baseball analogy, you can see it coming down and you're like, I can hit this one. And you can go. And again, not all of them are going to be dingers, right? But you can swing at so many more pitches when you're able to do that, when you see those deals come across the plate. So that's
I think it's good also for people who are laser focused on one asset class, and you go to these events and you're saying, well, don't do this, don't do that. As long as there are systems and processes in place that you can leverage to keep that freedom, because that's what we're all doing this for, then it's great. And if there are errors, you can just fix those, reprocess it, and go from there. So, it's worth doing a real estate to have those different types of asset classes in that same portfolio. Because eventually, more freedom will come, and now you have more diversity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we actually just trademarked diversified hybrid real estate investing because it's a mixture of the real estate and those assets.
I love it, man. The way you execute sometimes is so ridiculous. I love the way you execute sometimes. But that's real talk. I mean, the passion portion of this is the piece on it, right? Like, there's just different, like I said, you just get different vibes from different types of investments, different types of deals, and different things like that. And it all just, when you've got that positive portfolio sitting there, you can leverage notes differently than you can leverage real property. You can leverage real property, and so that starts to matter. If you're trying to go do a capital raise scenario, if you're trying to, I really need to get cash for this over here, that type of stuff is also possible. Hypothecating a note is possible, no question.
Yeah.
But if I go to the bank and I've got this portfolio of duplexes, they're going to go, oh, fantastic. I know what I can lend on that. How much on that? Like, they're ready to go. If I'm trying to hypothecate a portfolio of notes, it's possible, no question. But it's different. It's you got to go and they're going to look at it differently. They're going to underwrite it differently.
Yeah.
The underwriting on a couple of rentals, every bank in the country is going to be able to go do that. Every bank in the country knows what they're doing on that. You can go get funding to go do X or do Y, and that has value, a tremendous amount of value. So that's the reason why having that diversification is so important.
Awesome. What can you tell someone who's getting new and starting a business? We touched on education. Do you got a book coming out, by the way?
Do I have a book? I do not have a book.
Sound like something.
Oh my gosh, I do not have a book. No, that would be incredible. I think if I had a book coming out, it would have to just be audiobook. Like I just I'd have to get a ghostwriter, just do audiobook. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could string 2 sentences together. I might be able to get a paragraph in, but I can talk it through. Yeah.
So what do you have to add to tell someone who's just getting started and just getting new? What value or advice can you give them to stay focused and the path to go on to be successful in the real estate business?
That's tough. I mean, I think the biggest thing is to play your game, right? So if you're someone that has a little bit of side capital, so let's say you got 50, 75, 100 grand, so you can go start maybe do a deal on your own, like self-funded deals, so you can understand what's going on, or you can leverage that to go get more capital to go do a couple of deals. I mean, that's one scenario. If you were like myself, when I actually got into this business, I had recently been laid off because I was a decently paid marketing director, and they brought in someone younger that was going to be a little cheaper. So they were like, yeah, you got to go. So I didn't have a huge, I didn't have a bunch of capital to go invest with. So I had knowledge. So I was able to go execute on the knowledge, get the capital from investing partners, JV partners, to go do the deals. So you just have to play the game that you can, right? First of all, and then second of all, get the education to be able to go. Not saying you got to get our stuff, not saying you got to get anybody's stuff. Just understand that the mistakes you can make in any type of this, any type of real estate, the flip, the notes, whatever, is substantial. If you don't know what you don't know, and so at the very least, figure out what direction you want to go. Figure out where you're currently at, what game you're playing. I've got a little bit of capital. I don't have capital. Figure that out, and then go get a little bit of education. I think you can walk forward pretty quickly, especially in this environment. Don't get too it's almost like this weird micro. You have to have that micro speed, where the deals, what's going on, but you have to have this macro patience. Yeah. You have to be ready to play the long game. Well, understand short term that on the micro level, you gotta be hustling. What kind of deals am I going to do? Do I have money? Do I not have money? Who can I borrow from? Who can I start doing? But have that macro patience, because if you don't, you're going to start making a lot of mistakes because you just don't have it. You don't have it in your head yet that this is going to be long term, and that's something that a lot of people I see that mistake a lot.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. I definitely appreciate you coming by and adding value to the podcast. And you want to plug the educational platform again? Or?
Yeah, it's the Note Investing Academy. You can find it at noteinvestingacademy.com. And I think it's the most comprehensive note investing kind of education out there for what it is. And it's certainly the least expensive one, which is great. And I love it. I love what you guys do here. You execute at a level that's ridiculous, and you're someone I've always looked up to in the space. So I appreciate
you coming by, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, another great episode of Passion for Real Estate Investments with Juan Bilal, Chase Thompson. See you at the next one.